And I would like you, please, to introduce yourselves, your organizations, and also to stick to one question, if possible. We'll go to German television.
Secretary General, how do you explain these tensions between NATO and Russia? Are they also bound with the problems now actually in Russia, in Moscow, just behind after the elections?
Well, it's a well-known fact that in democracies you have heated debates during electoral campaigns, and of course I can't exclude the possibility that recent statements are also influenced by the electoral mood in Russia. But of course we have to take presidential statements seriously, and that's what I do by stressing that I don't think such statements are in full accordance with what we decided a year ago in Lisbon, when we clearly stated that we want to develop a true strategic partnership between NATO and Russia.
CNN?
Yes, Elise Labott with CNN. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. I'd like to expand on your comments of Russia between President Medvedev's threats to deploy the missile system and also the Russian rep here saying that it would tie its displeasure on missile defense to the transit of ISAF supplies in the northern distribution network. Do you consider this an official Russian position on Afghanistan and tying it to the northern distribution network and missile defense? What would the consequences be for ISAF, especially given what's going on with Pakistan and its closing of the border? And what would the implications be for Russian NATO cooperation in some of those other areas like counterterrorism and piracy that you just mentioned? Thank you.
I think, honestly speaking, that it's an empty threat because it is clearly in Russia's self-interest to contribute to a success in Afghanistan. Russia knows from bitter experience that instability in Afghanistan have negative repercussions in Russia as well. And obviously that's also the reason why Russia has embarked on a cooperation with NATO and with ISAF by providing a transit arrangement. Actually, 1 year ago in Lisbon, we decided to expand that transit to be a reverse transit. So I would be very surprised if Russia took a step that is in direct contradiction with what is Russia's self-interest.
First row.
Thank you. There is a reference of NATO tension with Pakistan. I come from Pakistan. What has been the investigation process? Because last year there was a similar incident where 3 persons were killed and NATO instantly sought an apology from Pakistan. But this time, as the time passes, there is a feeling in Pakistan that the attack was well coordinated, well planned, and well thought out.
First of all, I strongly regret the recent security incidents. And as I have already done, I would like to repeat here that I convey my deepest condolences to the bereaved families, and I express my sympathy for the armed forces of Pakistan and the Pakistani people. We have launched an investigation of what actually happened, and I do hope that Pakistan will engage positively in that investigation. We have invited Pakistan to participate in that investigation because I think the right response to that regrettable incident is not less but more cooperation also to avoid such accidents to happen in the future. And that should be the purpose of an investigation. Also to learn lessons as to how we can avoid such incidents in the future through a strengthened cooperation. We need a positive engagement of Pakistan.
Lady in the front, please don't forget to introduce yourself.
My name is Essia. I come from Tunisia. My question is to Secretary General about NATO strategy towards the Northern African countries and mostly Mediterranean countries following the Arab Spring, and what new strategy and towards these countries, and is NATO concerned about the weapons in the region, mostly in Libya, and the threat to the neighboring countries? Especially that on the borders with Tunisia, we've seen a lot of threats recently. Thank you.
First of all, on your specific question as regards weapons, yes, it is a matter of concern. I would remind you that the UN Security Council has stressed that it is a responsibility for the new authorities in Libya to make sure that the weapons are properly controlled. I would also remind you that the weapons embargo or the arms embargo is still in force. And it is a responsibility for all UN member states, including countries in the neighborhood of Libya, to enforce that arms embargo. So yes, it is a matter of concern, and it is a responsibility for the new authorities in Libya, as well as all countries in the region, to make sure that proliferation of such weapons will not take place. Your more general question about the Arab Spring and what is the consequences of that, I'm very encouraged by what we have seen. What we have seen is that the people of nations in North Africa and the Middle East have taken the situation in their own hands. They have clearly demanded freedom and democracy. They have seen that freedom and democracy can bring prosperity, can bring new opportunities for people. They have seen that with their own eyes in countries that flourish from freedom and democracy. And now they want, for understandable reasons, exactly the same opportunities in their countries. That has been the driving force behind the revolutions in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Libya, and elsewhere. And the only way forward is to accommodate these legitimate aspirations of the people in the region. I hope that strong and stable democracies will develop in North Africa and the Middle East. And I'm confident that will happen.
Over there.
Vaidas Aldžiūnas, Lithuanian Daily, Lietuvos rytas. So as you mentioned about Russia's response towards missile defense shield, despite all that, Russians seem to be going anyway and responding kind with deploying missiles and radars. So as some NATO countries have already expressed the concern that Russia is strengthening its military capabilities on the western borders, would NATO, apart the talking and urging Russia, respond in any other kind, or would it seem any similar responses as an escalation? You don't want to lead to unexpected scenarios.
Such reactions would definitely be premature. Let me remind you that President Medvedev kept the door open to dialogue. And there's still some time to go. My time horizon is still the NATO summit in Chicago in May. I do hope that we can reach an agreement with Russia on missile defense by May. Hopefully that could also lead to a new NATO-Russia summit similar to the one we had in Lisbon. What I have done is to clearly stress that the rhetoric we have seen recently is not in accordance with the positive Lisbon spirit, where we stated that we want to develop a true strategic partnership between NATO and Russia. But I don't think we should overreact. Let's continue negotiations and dialogue. I'm still optimistic. I do believe there is a fair chance that we can reach an agreement.
One very last question over there.
Mohammed Zubia from Misrata TV. We have some information received from some media agencies saying that some Libyans or some rebels from Libya went to Syria or to the borders of Syria. So is there any information regarding this matter? Because such news would make troubles for our, rebels and internationally. Please, I request Your Excellency to confirm or to have, or at least to let others know what's going on.
Yeah, but I have to say that I don't have such information. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And you will have seen the communique which should be circulated to you. Thank you.